Stormin Norman garage inspection in Crossout with Dangerously Incompetent. Now with this build I wanted to do two things. I wanted to practice with the Aegis Prime shield. That's the one that surrounds your vehicle thusly. Yes, not the one that drops a turret that then pops up a shield. And I wanted to break the back of handling the synthesis, because I find the shooting the synthesis really awkward and a right pain in the royal posterior. So I searched around on the exhibition for a bit of inspiration, and I'd show you that build that I started from, but it's not there anymore. I'm sure I liked it, but it's not in my like things now, so I think the owners deleted it out of the exhibition, so I can't show you where I started from because I didn't keep a copy of the original. Ho hum. But I've changed, either swapped everything out or shuffled it around, everything apart from the wheel configuration. That is the same, well actually the frame's changed, but the wheel positions, they're all the same from what I picked out at the exhibition, so I'm not claiming credit for them, for the wheel alignment. And the wheel alignment is really quite good. It's probably the strongest thing about this build. Now it's not immediately obvious, but this build has got 6 wheels. It's got racing wheels front and back, and then tucked away in the middle underneath it's got 2 landing gears either side of the cabin. Now the problem with 6 wheels is every wheel reduces your power, so it reduces your acceleration. But as you can see, the acceleration is not bad. Now in part that's because I've used racing wheels and, for the 2 inside ones, landing gears, and they have lower power loss coefficients than other larger, more durable wheels. And of course I've got the Cheetah engine in there, you can see sitting up the back, to help give it a bit more oomph and acceleration. As you can see, it handles quite nicely, it turns quite nicely, and top speed's not too bad, and the acceleration is not too bad. So all in all, the handling is pretty good, and I'm quite happy with that. Let's take it. Oh, I know what we were going to do. Now, why have 6 wheels? Well, wheel resilience. You're always getting your wheels shut off, and if you've only got 4 wheels and you get 1 wheel shut off, then you start limping around. If you've got 2 wheels shut off, then basically all you can do is turn on the spot, maybe skid forwards a bit. But with this build, should your front wheels, for instance, get shut off, as often happens, what can you do? We can accelerate quite happily, we can turn. Okay, it's a bit more skiddy than usual, but all in all you can still get around quite happily with your digging in of the hatchets on the front. But then if your front wheels are being shot off, then the hatchets are probably gone as well. So losing your front wheels isn't such a huge issue, and you can also lose the rear wheels, or it could lose 2 outside wheels on the side, and it still runs around quite happily. And even if you lose more than that, it can still get around a bit. Let's have a closer look at the wheel layout. Now it's symmetrical side to side. You got racing wheel, steering, front and back, and then the landing gears in the middle. I tried landing gear steering to see what that would do if you lost 2 front wheels or 2 rear wheels, and what it meant was I couldn't steer. I just went off in a diagonal. When I was trying to turn right, I'd go diagonally right. It's really weird. Something to do with where the centre of mass is compared to all the steering wheels, I think. But anyway, yeah, you want regular landing gears, not for the weight, mass limit or the tonnage or anything like that, but to be able to steer once you've lost 2 front or rear wheels. And it's also, I've mentioned symmetrical side to side, and symmetrical front to back. And the centre of mass is about here, right in the plonk in the middle. So handling is really rather good. The only downside on this wheel layout is these front wheels are a little bit exposed, and which helps get them shot off. But I'm resilient to that, so I lived with that. Now this build does have an issue with its Aegis Prime. Well, there's several issues with the Aegis Prime. The shortness of the duration of the shield is actually up, and the long time it takes before it's charged up again so you can use it again. But in particular on this build, it's its placement. It's not all that big. So if you can see there, it doesn't actually cover the snow plow and those spiky bumpers and the hatchets. It covers up the wheels and it covers up the train plow, but those other bits on the front aren't quite covered, which is a bit of a pain. See if I can wind it up again. Oh, the cheater, by the way, helps speed up the recharge rate of the Aegis Prime. Let's see, pop it again. So you can see it covers the wheels, covers the train plow. It doesn't last very long, but yeah, gonna have to live with that, because here it is. Here's the Aegis Prime. I've stuck it on the bottom, and if you see, that is the Quantum. So it's as far forward as I can get it without it actually being underneath the cabin. And if it's underneath the cabin, it's 3 blocks high, yeah. Which means the dome thing just drags along the ground, so you jerk and stop and all the rest of it. You can't have it there for handling reasons unless you've got bigger wheels. And if I put it on top of the cabin, then it's going to get shot off. And if I put it on the side of the cabin, then the other side is probably not going to reach. You know, this part would be unshielded, and then I'll get my weapons shot off. It's just needs to be a bit bigger, or the Quantum cabin a bit shorter, lengthwise. With the build I originally got from the exhibition, the Synthesis had no cover. I've made it so that they've got like a square covering them, and so they don't get hit as often, because Synthesises don't have a huge amount of durability, 151. But that didn't seem to matter, because the Synthesis fell off more often than not, because the bits of structure they were sighted on kept on getting shot off. And that's because it's quite an awkward place to put them, because the landing gear is right there, so you can't just slap a gun mount, attach it to the cabin, and then slap the Synthesis on top, and the gun mount has got good durability and it's one of those shoot-through pieces. So I had to get a bit creative and did a bit of work to defend it a bit more by putting on some bumpers, and was helped by the recent bumper change, which has mostly buffed the durability of a lot of these bumpers. So we've got a bit of bumper on the back to defend it, a bit of bumper on the side, a bit more bumper on the side to protect the hidden wheels, and the can you see it there? It's a bit hard to see. Let's take the Synthesis off. The buggy floor, which it's sitting on, is also shoot through, but doesn't have very much durability, and that's attached straight to the cabin. And then underneath it there's some more bits that hold up the structure, that holds up the bull bars, so if the front part gets shot off, if that part that part brazier goes, the bumper's still sitting on there, and there's some other bits of structure just filling in. And then we got the buggy bumper on the front, because that's got a good durability, and because most of the time you're going to get shot in the front, aren't you? Yes. And the thing about putting sort of a protective basket around your weapons is placement of the weapon can be very critical for your declination, how much you can shoot down. Because if I pop this Synthesis back 1 square, so that's 1 square from there to there, and if you take it for a little test drive, you can see now let's fire. So you can see the right hand Synthesis is hitting the ground right in front, no problem at all. That's maximum declination, whereas the left hand one is shooting off into the distance. Being a bit further away, the physics model, well, the box hit model of the Synthesis and the hit model of the buggy bumper sort of conspire so that you can't shoot down, which is right pain. So a bit of advice: if you're trying to protect your weapons and it seems you can't get any declination out the front, try shifting around 1 or 2 blocks either way, and you should be good to go. Well, with a bit of luck you'll be good to go. Weapons. Now this is sort of the Achilles heel of this build. It's a bit underwhelming in the old firepower, especially for its power score. As we look on the exhibition and I search, oh no, not there. power score? Where's it gone? It's 6,660. So let's put that. If we have a quick search for weapons, likes. Yeah. What sort of weapons am I going to be facing at my power score? Pair of yellows, legendaries. Yes. What else we got? Oh, another pair of legendaries. Stuff. Oh, what about that one? That's blues, but it's got 5 of them. Ooh, joy. So, whereas this build has only got 2 synthesises. Now, in part, that's due to the Aegis Prime, because it's a bit energy hungry at 3 points. So why have it? Well, it protects you, stops you getting shot, doesn't it? Well, the thing is, with the shield, in your build, you've got to change your playstyle so that you only get shot when you got the shield up, and that only lasts like 2 volleys of the synthesis, and then you've got to get away and not be shot. So you're trading off a bit more defensibility for less firepower. And if you use the shield well, it's worth it. And if you don't use the shield well, then it's not worth it, because you pop up the shield and they don't shoot you, and then as soon as it wears off, they go, aha, boom. And, yeah. So that's one thing, but that's one thing I expected because I wanted to play around with the Aegis Prime. The real issue is that it's got a epic cabin, and it's got 6 wheels, and it's got an epic engine, and it's got a good bit of structure, and it's got 1,000 durability. There's quite a lot of structure on there. And for 6,660 power score, I've got 2 blue weapons. And I've got blue weapons, and it's very underwhelming, is what it is. Because when you're in missions, you want the most efficient killer for your power score, and blue weapons, I don't feel, are it when it comes to the 6,000 odd power score. I mean, I could put in a generator and then slap on a 3rd synthesis, but where would I put the synthesis and where would I put the generator so that it wasn't exposed? Because generators go boom somewhere in the back of the cabin, I suppose, which would mean the engine would be popped up. I suppose I could put the synthesis on top of the engine, but the engine ain't that durable. It's all getting a bit messy, so I stuck with a 2 synthesis. But overall, I would say I'm very happy with the build's driving performance, but less happy with the gunnery performance. Maybe do better with like some Fafnirs instead of synthesis. They're both 4 energy. Maybe I'll try that out, or maybe I'll try sticking a generator in there and bumping up the power score a bit more and bulking it out, having to put in some more structure to defend the generator, which increases the power score even more just to get a 3rd synthesis. I don't know. Anyway, I think I'm about done with pointing out stuff about the build, and I'm just about done playing it, I think. Now I must come and think of some other genius build to show you. I don't know. Or maybe I could just go a bit meta and just slap some lances on 4 wheels and start driving around under cloak. Who knows? Well, if you've got suggestions, I suppose, if my muse doesn't come up with anything, maybe you should suggest something I could build, a cabin to use, particular cabin to use, a particular weapon to use. I don't know. Anyway, that's it for this video. See you next time on the Dangerously Incompetent show.